Greetings. This is the second video on the Excel worksheet pre-semester, so I'm going to be working on numbers 4 and 5 here. 4a is asking you to basically just type this expression on Excel and figure out what it's going to be. So these two minus each other, minus 1.96 times this whole square root. Now in statistics, this is known as the lower confidence limit or lower control limit. They do this in finance. They use this in marketing and in product testing, quality control. So let's see how we can type this up. And what's interesting is that, and nice and easy, is that the way you type this and the way you do it on a spreadsheet is exactly the way you see it written. So you see it starts with a parentheses, so you type equal to, always, parentheses, and you just basically type what you see, 3.52 minus 1.03, close parentheses, minus 1.96 times, which is the asterisk, square root in Excel is SQRT, of 2.06 squared divided by 150, plus 0.85 squared divided by 150 again. And that's how you type that. And there's the answer. And you round it off to any decimal place your instructor asks you to, or I ask you to. Well, the other one I noticed is the same thing. It's identical. The only difference is the top one is a minus, the bottom one is a plus. So there's no point for me to rewrite everything. So I just come to the previous command, Control C, enter. So copy it, come here, Control V, paste it, double click on the cell. That'll take you back into the command of it. I don't know why it's not doing it now. There you go. So you double click on it, takes you back into the command, and all you have to do here is just change the minus to a plus. And that'll be the plus part of it. So those are the confidence limits, they call them. The lower confidence limit and the upper confidence limit. Alright, well, you do this one the same way. So you just type equal to, again, 5.87 minus 3.49, close parentheses, divide by the square root of 1.26 to the power of 2, divide by 53, plus 2.03 to the power of 2, divided by 85. Yeah, I noticed that same as before, I didn't put any parentheses around the inside because you see, you're not asking Excel to violate any order of operations. You want to square it first, then you want to divide it, you want to square that, you want to divide it, then you want to add them together. And if you type this up exactly as is, that's what exactly Excel will do, because you're going straight with the order of operations. So it's unnecessary for you to put parentheses around what's inside the square root. And then press enter and there's your answer. So let's move on to the next one, numbers 6 and 7. Number 6 is giving you a table. Later on, you'll learn that this is a table called a probability table or a probability distribution. And again, later on, you'll also learn that this experiment is actually the experiment of tossing a coin 3 times or gender sequencing for 3 children. And these are the probabilities that you'll have, let's say, talking about coin tosses and getting number of tails you may get when you toss a coin 3 times. These are actually the possible number of tails, 0, 1, 2, 3, and these are the probabilities, 12%, 13%, 38%, 38%, 13% almost, that you get 3 tails when you toss a coin 3 times. Anyways, you'll learn what this is once we get to module 4. But here, it's asking you to calculate E, whatever E happens to be, and E is the sum of XP's. Now, what does that mean? Sum of XP's means you have to, see, these are the X's, so you have 4 X's and 4 P's. So it's basically telling you to multiply each pair and then add them up. That's what it's telling you to do. So you have to multiply 0 to 0.125, you have to multiply 1 by 0.375, you have to multiply 2 by 0.375, you have to multiply 3 by 0.125, and then you have to add them together. Now manually, in the old days, you just literally do it. So you'll say equal to like 0 times 0.125 plus 1 times 0.375 plus 2 times 0.375 plus 3 times 0.125. I mean, that's how we used to when I took this class. That's how I did it, with pencil, paper, and a calculator. And you get 1.5. Well, and that's your E. That's what it's asking you to do. But I'm going to get E a whole lot easier than the way we used to get it using a spreadsheet. So here, instead of calculating the O's and E's, calculating the XP's and adding them together, I'm just going to do it using Excel. So I'll type my X's. I'll type my probabilities. I know how to get those, so don't worry about where these numbers come from. That's not your concern at the moment. You need to calculate E. That's your concern. All right, so how am I going to see, this is calculating E traditionally, the way they did it in 1970s. How would I calculate E today? Well, instead of like multiplying all the XP's like literally and adding them together, I can multiply the XP's here in the column. So I'll multiply the first X by the first P. And then I'll drag it down. I'll produce all the other XP's. So these are all the XP's. And then basically what E wants you to do is to add them all up. So basically E will be the sum of all my XP's. And you see, you get, I mean, I think that's an easier way of getting 1.5 than writing it all out like that. So that's how you calculate E given a probability table. And it's the same thing here. If I type these up, so 980, 480, 280, 0, and minus 20. Don't let any of these numbers surprise you. Yeah, these numbers could be zeros, positives, negatives, it could be anything. The only restriction is on the P's. The P's can never be greater than 1 or negative, but these X's could be anything you want. So like here, if you had like 2.5, and if given these are the X's and these are the P's, you know that this is a wrong thing, because it's impossible for a probability to be 2.5. Probability is a number between 0 and 1. So you knew that would have been a wrong typo thing or whatever. So you could actually detect when you have a wrong answer. So anyway, so you copy the P's, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 3 zeros, and then 0.001, and then 0.002, and then 0.005, and then 0.9916. Okay, and it's asking me to calculate that E again. And what's E is the sum of all these XP. So again, instead of doing it manually, I'm just going to multiply the first X to the first P. And remember, I'm not using the value, I'm using the cell location. And then I'm going to drag this down. So here's all my XP's. And then my E will be the sum of all those XP's. So I just have to add these XP's together. And there's my answer. Let's move on to the next one. And here is asking you to do a frequency table. Then it's asking you to plot this and do this bar chart. So let's do this on our next video. Give it a try and then check out the video, see if you did this right.